copy that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now 9 a.m. and we'll open this meeting. If you care to join me in Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone, for today's meeting. Invocation is Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Morris.
Yes, hi. So today, many people observe Ash Wednesday, which is an annual event that calls us to self-examination, acknowledgement of shortcomings, a declaration of God's mercy, and a blessing for the Lenten journey. The tone is solemn yet hopeful. It acknowledges brokenness while clinging to grace. I'm quoting songwriter Crystal Lewis. He gives beauty for ashes, strength for fear, gladness for mourning, peace for despair. When sorrow seems to surround you, when suffering hangs heavy on your head, know that tomorrow brings wholeness and healing. God knows your need, just believe what he said. When what was done keeps you from moving on, when fear wants to make itself at home in your heart, know that forgiveness brings wholeness and healing. God knows your need. Just believe what he said. He gives beauty for ashes, strength for fear, gladness for mourning, and peace for despair. As we go to prayer now, most holy and merciful Father, you created us from the dust of the earth. Grant that our ashes may be a sign of repentance. We confess that we've fallen short in thought, word, and deed. We have not loved you with our whole heart, nor loved our neighbors as ourselves. Forgive us and renew our spirits with your grace. Guide our service so that it honors you in truth and in humility, and lead us in your loving ways. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Morris. Ms. Coyle, roll call, if you please.
Andrews. Here. Lynn.
Flynn?
Lynn.
Here.
Sorry. Henschel.
I'm here.
McAllister.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Spence.
Here.
Walter.
Here.
Seifert.
Here. Thank you. Whenever you're ready for first public comment rules. I know, right?
Any person shall be permitted to address a meeting of the Board of Commissioners, which is required to be open to the public under the provisions of the Michigan Opens Meeting Act. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. Any person wishing to address the board may state his or her name and township or district. Providing a specific address is not recommended. Persons may address the board on matters or issues which are relevant or germane to the county government as determined by the chair. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions, if any. The chair shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chair may, at his or her discretion, allow additional opportunity or time to speak if determined germane or necessary to the discussion. Public comment will be solicited during the 2 public comment periods noted in Rule 5.4, Order of Business. However, public comment may be received during the meeting when a specific agenda, topic, or scheduled for discussion by the board. Prior to the first public comment, the chair will indicate the topics on the agenda for which the public comment will be accepted. Members of the public wishing to comment should raise their hand in order to be recognized and shall not address the board until called upon by the chair. The board shall not comment or respond to a person who is addressing the board. Silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the board. Please be respectful and refrain from personal or political attacks.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to speak at this time, please just go to the podium. Tell us who you are and approximately where you live in Grand Traverse County. Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Third time's a charm. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Coyle. So I'm looking for an approval of the agenda. I will make that motion to approve the agenda with the addition of Administrator Adams. I just sent you an attachment where we are required by law to have a FOIA hearing by tomorrow, or appeal hearing by tomorrow. So
Support.
Thanks. I'm going to put that under new business. Thank you, Commissioner Henschel. Comments, questions, concerns, additions? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. Consent calendar, if you please, Ms. Goyle.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by the commission in motion without discussion. Any member of the commission staff or the public may ask that any item of the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, received and filed or approval, is approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. All information identified on the consent calendar can be viewed at its entirety at the gtcountymi.gov website. Receive A1, CDBG Loan Program 2025 Year-End Report. A2, Department of Health and Human Services Pavilion's December 2025 meeting minutes. A3, Safe Harbor Shelter Utilization Report, January 2026. A4, an ARPA status report. A5, an expenditure report. A6, letter from the Father Fred Foundation. A7, Graylick Endowment, Forever Camp and Graylick Endowment. B, approvals. B1, adoption of the Board of Commissioner meeting minutes. B2, address assignments services agreement. B3, promulgation of continuity of government for 2026. B4, Sheriff's Office NRAA Mutual Aid Agreement. B5, Sheriff's Office 2026 Vehicle Upfitting. B6, Sheriff's Office Patrol Vehicle Purchase. B7, ARPA Funding Reimbursement Request. B8, Grand Traverse County Properties Lawn Care Contracts 2026 through 2028. B9, Historic Courthouse Concrete Replacement. B10, Operational Audit. B11, Housing Study, Updated Scope of Work. B12, Performance Reviews for the Administrator and Health Officer.
Thank you. So, is there anybody that'd like to have any items pulled from the consent calendar as presented? Commissioner Andrews.
Items A7 and B3.
7 and B3. Anyone else? All right. I would like to pull B4. Excuse me. All right. Entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as modified.
So moved. Second.
Oh, were you not done?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to also pull B12.
Let's try that one more. Now are you done? I'm sorry. My apologies.
Weren't you at the
Jumping gun
agenda
there.
meeting?
It's not like we're in a hurry or anything, right? We're here till 1, right? So, let's try that again.
Move to approve with the exemptions of A7, B3, B4, and B12.
Second.
Excellent. We have a motion by Commissioner Anschel, second by Commissioner McAllister to approve the consent calendar with the exception of B3, B4, B12, and A7. Ms. Coyle, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Flynn,
Yes.
Henschel,
Yes.
McAllister,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Spence,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Andrews,
Yes.
Seifert.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. We're moving right along to 6A, special orders of business. Do you want to take this, Administrator Alger? It's Project Alpha.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, Commissioners, everybody in attendance. This morning we have with us Jerry Tomzak and Bobby Poplinski from Cunningham Limp to provide you an update on Project Alpha.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll give you a quick update since our last report. We're completed to date. Obviously, we're continuing to have biweekly meetings with the subcommittee members. PIA, the architects, have completed their CD drawings, which are the construction documents, specifications, and monument engineers have completed their civil engineering CD drawings. Both of those documents, along with the specifications, have been uploaded. We've already sent the bid invites out to subcontractors. Right now, we're looking at the invite list of about 400 subcontractors. We're going to start calling those subcontractors, asking them for commitments that they're going to bid the project, including if they've got any questions regarding the scope of work, schedules, blah, blah, blah. Other items, Fern and I met with Greenspire School teachers to discuss the rain garden. That went well. They're going to work on a couple of options for us. We'll set aside a budget for that because obviously that won't be completed in time when we report our budget at the next meeting. We've also met with Garfield Township Building Department and with the county. I'll be submitting those plans along with permit plan review applications to both the township and the county for their reviews. We're continuing to have discussions with DTE. Nate and I had a talk with Chris Hackbarth yesterday regarding the easement. They're progressing with their design. We anticipate having that within the next 2 weeks. Midwest Geothermal completed their test well on the site. They captured the data. The well was drilled down roughly 500 feet. That information was used and determined the geothermal system for the EOC building. For upcoming work, obviously I mentioned we've prepared the bid documents and are proceeding with getting those numbers by the first week of March. We'll report to this board at the next scheduled meeting, I think it's March 18th, on our proposed GMP for the project. And I mentioned we're submitting those drawings and permits to the appropriate agencies. That'll include GT Metro Fire. And also we've got some revised drawings that we're sending to the township engineer, Gordy Frazier, for the revisions to the sanitary and the water for the public lines. And we'll capture the DTE final design in hopes of getting that also included as part of the budget before the March 18th date. I'll answer questions you might have regarding the progress, and then Bobby will discuss the contract.
Any questions? Commissioner Andrews?
Yeah, thanks. When you're doing bidding for subcontractor work, how do you ensure local companies have I believe we have a preference policy for locals.
There
How
is.
does that incorporate it into the planning?
Yes, so we sent to local subcontractors. We do have that 5% option that we can use. Nate brought that to our attention at one of our meetings last week. Our intent would be to use a preferred contractor that's local. I think we'll find that there will have to be a few of them that are outside the area just because of the complexity of the project. Also to note, there's obviously some big projects out there on the street right now for bid. Obviously the airport, TCAPS has the field house out there for bid, and there's a few others, but we'll make sure to give preference to local subcontractors.
And has our building authority reviewed the contract? What is the process to ensure that the proposal, I mean, I understand this is a not to exceed contract, so how do we ensure that from our perspective, all the numbers that go into the maximum are reasonable? Don't we have an obligation on our end to use didn't we hire an architect and we have a building authority that we task to review, and wouldn't we do that on the front end? Because once those contract is set, we don't get to negotiate, right? Those numbers are
So
set.
the contract review did include the Spicer Group, who has been hired to provide additional support, as well as extensive comments from our risk manager, MMRMA, on indemnity, insurance provisions, similar provisions, as well as significant involvement of civil counsel. And it has been discussed at prior building authority meetings where we have asked for comments from the building authority that we've incorporated in the agreement. An example would be a conversation with the building authority about lien waivers. And so we have taken their input and we have incorporated in the agreement also.
I guess I'm asking a slightly different question, which is how we're going to get a compilation of prices to perform windows, roofing, foundation work, each single component, and each of those went out to bid. And how don't we have somebody reviewing the number that makes up the total maximum bid to make sure each number is a reasonable and was the compliant either with our 5% addition or like what's our process to make sure that that maximum number is not padded, just to ensure that it seems Does the question make sense?
It looks like
Yes.
Mr. Poplinski is ready to
Yeah.
answer.
Thank
Good
you.
morning,
I'm
Commissioners.
looking at administration.
No, good morning, Commissioners. Bobby Poplinski, also with Cunningham Limp. Great question, Commissioner Andrews. So the process that we'll go through is we have the open bids out right now. We have a deadline for all bids to be submitted for 2 Mondays from the Monday that just happened. So we're going to receive all those bids in. We're going to go through a process called our sub-levelization process, where we're going to make sure that they have a similar scope being covered because we sent out scopes of work. So that way we make sure we have an apples-to-apples comparison that each of these subcontractors are carrying a similar scope. And once we can confirm that, we then also have their number and then a confirmation that they can hit the schedule or if they have an issue with the schedule. So we'll go through an entire process to levelize all those subcontractors, making sure they're all apples to apples, and then that will give us who's the lowest number, also the most qualified at that lowest number. So after we go through that process, we're then going to sit down with the team, the building authority, to present those bids. Our process will be an open book, open bid process. So all of those sub-levelization, all of that information is open for anyone's review to see our comparison of the subcontractor bids that came in, and we're going to show who we recommend for each of those. There may be a situation where a low bidder may not be selected, but we will make sure to explain why our recommendation would not be for that low bidder to be selected, and that would likely be based on whether or not there's qualification issues for them to be able to perform to the schedule and the quality that we're looking for the project. So all of that will be open book, and if we make a recommendation and either the board or building authority or anyone on the team has an issue with that recommendation or would like to discuss it or say, no, we recommend we actually go with this person, then we have that discussion of, okay, this may affect the schedule, or we know that they don't necessarily carry this scope, so we have to make sure we're carrying some additional costs there. So it'll be part of that finalizing the number to be able to go, yes, we can use that subcontractor, but here's what it does to the GMP or to the schedule. So all of that will be an open process, and any subcontractor bids that anyone would like to see is open for review.
And that's at open meetings of the building authority?
Yeah, we'll present on Monday, the 9th, to the full team, which will be part of an open meeting. That will be, we'll go through the entire list of bids, give them the chance to review who we're recommending. There'll then be a couple of days before our package will be submitted, a week in advance of the 18th Board of Commissioners meeting in March, to make sure that we're hitting that schedule for your review of that guaranteed maximum price on the 18th.
What time on the March 9th is the meeting?
2 o'clock. I have it in my calendar. I actually know, it's 2 o'clock. So we'll have a meeting at 2 o'clock on Monday, the March 9th.
And my last question is about contingency pricing. I see the contract allows for contingency. What is the amount and how is that determined? Like, that seems like it creates a lot of discretion.
Yeah, subcontractors are not allowed contingency. They can carry their own contingency within it, but that's going to affect whether or not they're going to be the lowest, most qualified bidder. Our overall prime contract that we're also presenting today, as part of the negotiations, the county had suggested that we lock in for a percentage of what our contingency will be carried on the project, which in our contract will be 8%. And that will be obviously calculated off of what our cost of work number is as we bring in all of those bids. So we have a lock-in of that 8% contingency. Obviously, the hope will be that contingency is not necessary for the project, but it's covering the unknowns that may be addressed as we get into construction.
And on a project-by-project basis, if contingency is being tapped, is that a building authority approval, or how does that work?
So as we use contingency, we will be reporting on that to the team in the building authority, and our process will be to report that a contingency usage is needed, and then we will follow up, and if it's a contingency usage, it's a no cost, but we capture that within a change order a no-cost change order just to reflect, here's where contingency is being used, on what scope, and that way everybody knows what it was used on and that it was a valid contingency usage.
And my question for administration, how did you come up with 8% contingency?
It was internal discussions as well as input from Spicer Group. That's how we developed that number.
Commissioner Spence.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I wonder if we should go back to a weekly meeting just to wrap up a few things, or feel free to call a special meeting to address some, just some needs to stay on track. You had said, Jerry, that Garfield Township was going to be working on the permitting and with you, and I think in the past we've had some disconnect with getting with engineering with Garfield Township, having a couple not roadblocks, but it just wasn't as easy as we expected.
Yeah, it's been great. We've had a couple of meetings now with Garfield Township.
So the permitting is going to go smoothly. You feel
We
confident
anticipate,
about
yep.
that?
Turnaround expected for plan review about a week. Issue the permit within a couple weeks after the plan review. Yep.
Okay, and then my other thing was to talk about networking in the infrastructure and tech part of the project Alpha. I don't think that is your responsibility, but there's going to be a 6 to 8 month need apparently for getting the
Fiber.
technology fiber worked through the building. And is that something that will be figured out earlier?
It will be by the time we get the building constructed, yes. We've already had some discussions regarding the routing for the fiber. We have some redundancies in the system. There's going to be 2 fiber provided for the EOC. So yes, we'll definitely have that wrapped up and active in time for occupancy.
So I did go through the packet and the timeline and everything. Do we have that laid out as far as, because we talked about at our last meeting, the FFE. Do we have a kind of a chart that shows the timeline of the networking of the tech and the infrastructure needs?
We've identified it in the milestone, but we'll have a construction schedule we're working on right now. So we've issued a milestone schedule for purposes of bidding. It helps the bidders understand. They don't have to get into the weeds with a 5 or 6 page schedule. This one's a 2-page schedule right now, but yes, we will be updating it with the additional information for the networking. There's FF&E, fixtures, furniture, and equipment that we'll be helping with during the construction process.
Yeah, I
also.
see the milestone schedule. I guess I didn't see that particular part, but maybe
Yeah.
it's
So we'll
under a
make sure.
different topic.
Yep, absolutely. It's a very important topic, obviously.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more questions at this juncture? Anything? Please continue.
I would like to follow up on Commissioner Andrews' questions. So the process we have in place right now is every 4th Tuesday, the Building Authority will meet. They will review the pay apps that's submitted by Cunningham Limp. We'll review those pay apps, approve the payments as required. The Building Authority would then push out, probably through minutes, information to the Board of Commissioners. Is there a different process you would like us to employ than that? I think the system that we have a lot of trust and faith in the contract. We have a lot of trust and faith in Cunningham Limp. The Building Authority is prepped, ready to handle the pay apps as they come to them. The meetings are already scheduled. Is there another option that you would like us to consider?
I think
Commissioner Nelson?
If it's not broken, why would we want to fix it? You can always add another meeting, or you can have some additional conversations if needed, but sounds to me like both parties think it's working.
Commissioner Spence?
Yeah, I just think there's a few heavy lifts outside of your scope of work. That's kind of what's been building up in my head, like this tech infrastructure, networking, and the equipment and the fixtures and the flooring and all that stuff that you're not responsible for, which I respect that, but I feel like there's some other areas that we might need to talk about, because that's going to be expensive. And we have your budget presented before us. It's between 26 to 28.6 million, but there's going to be some additional costs that I think are going to be heavy that we might need to talk about. that are part of the building, filling up the building. You're providing a building, but we need to fill it up. And I know you can't speak to that. That's more for
We
all of
can,
you.
if you want, we can invite Corey and Greg to the podium. They can talk about the technology, the fiber. John, we are meeting, talking about FFE. We're prepared. We're having conversations. So if you want more information now, we can have staff come and talk through these issues.
I mean, if FFE is a concern, then yes, let's hear about it.
Who's doing
What's
the
the plan?
FFE?
How much is it?
Is it a contractor?
Who's in charge
To
of it?
determine
What are we
later?
moving in?
Sorry, I talked
All
over
right,
you.
go
My
ahead.
apologies. No, go ahead. If it's a concern, let's talk about it. Corey, you over there somewhere? I knew I saw you
So
sneak in the back.
FFE is, just so you're aware, FFE is not part of this agreement. We are ultimately responsible for the FFE, the furnishings and equipment. We are aware of that. You're going to hear Corey's presentation today on the call handling system as an example. That will go with us to the new facility. So we're aware of it. We know that it's a challenge for us to identify the funding currently, but with the future discussions about funding that we're going to have, I think on March 11th, we're hoping to have that information to you by then.
Rest assured, we are going to assist in facilitating the FF&E with the building committee, with all of the staff members.
Good morning, Corey, 911 Director, and just wanted to say appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. As Nate mentioned, my upcoming agenda item was kind of tangential to this conversation, and we'll talk more about that then. But from staff's perspective, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but we do need to start forecasting for our budgets on how much of the lift is going. I mean, we can build a 911 center, but it doesn't do a whole lot of good unless you got a bunch of computers and phones inside of there to handle the calls. And so we're going to have to figure out a schedule for when we need to be budgeting for this, how much that's going to be. I've got staff working on some numbers right now about what it's going to cost us for furniture, for computers, for provisioning this whole thing. And I believe I heard Nate say that we're going to talk about this in a future meeting. I can come back with some numbers with what that would look like for having everything brand new inside the new building.
Please do.
Okay.
Any more questions for Corey?
Not for Corey, but for administration, for
Thanks, Corey.
Administrator Alger. I'm sure we look forward to making sure that we have parallel tracks for the FF&E with the building, so it doesn't sit empty while we figure out what goes in it. Administrator Alger, you mentioned that the processes that the building authority will meet, it will just, on the monthly, it will go through the invoices, it'll approve certain of them, and then, or all of them, and then it will be reflected in the minutes. The question sometimes the minutes don't reflect anything except motions. How does that board work?
So that's why I'm asking the question. So if you want to see all of the pay apps, we would have to include that information within the minutes package that comes to this board.
I mean, I think what we want to see is how much was approved and what was it for and to whom. And if the minutes simply say approve the invoices as presented, that's not very informative. So just ensuring that the minutes are comprehensive enough that they tell us what's being paid for whom, for what services.
I contemplate that
Sorry,
we would have.
somebody's got their hand up back in the.
Bonnie?
I contemplate that we will have all of what we receive as a building authority as far as pay apps, that you would see every one of those pay apps.
Hi, Bonnie Shealy, Grand Traverse County Clerk. Yes, Commissioner Andrews, we can put, normally we would put all the list of which apps or which things were paid. We would list them out just like we do for the debt services and building authority. It would have that comprehensive list of payments. Were you looking for something else in there besides that?
I'd like to know how much we're paying to each.
Yes, we will
entity.
include that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Is that all? I'm sorry, so you can hear me on the record.
Commissioner Andrews, just for your information too, the pay application that we'll submit will have it's a standard AIA pay application that will have a continuation sheet as well as a sworn statement. So the information that you're looking for If our pay application gets submitted along with the minutes, it's going to have a breakout of what each subcontractor has billed for during that monthly period against their contract, making sure that they're not going over it, what percentage they are complete for the project. So you'll be able to see exactly how much they've billed for during that time period and what's being paid for and what they have left to complete for the project.
So that's in addition to the minutes.
You're going to get everything you want. So my concern is, are you going to be receiving too much? So if you want to have all the pay applications, I'm sensing that there's a desire for that. We'll put it in.
I mean, our packets are already hundreds and hundreds of pages, so it seems like having a link to that information is helpful, particularly if the minutes have sufficient detail.
Mr. Fisher, I apologize, but please continue.
Yes. So Jerry completed the overall. It's
Poplinski, excuse me.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. Hey, do you play chess by the question? Mr. Poplinski, my apologies.
That's okay.
You were right to the basketball court.
So Jerry completed the overall update of what has been completed and the direction that we are going. If there's any more questions about the process that we'll go through to get to the GMP, we're happy to answer any further of those questions. I am also here as well to answer any questions that may be had about the AIA contract that has been included within the packet for approval for signature as well today.
Thank you. Any more questions or comments, concerns concerning this? That's all you got? Thank you. That's all we got.
So we need a motion.
We do. What would that be?
So the motion's in your packet.
All right.
I move that we proceed with the construction of Project Alpha and authorize the chair to execute the AI document 133-219 standard form agreement between Grand Traverse County owner and Cunningham Limp Construction Manager as contractor.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Anderson, support by Commissioner Flynn to approve as presented. Any more comments, questions, concerns? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Thank you. Thank you again, and my apologies. All right, moving on to 7, items removed from consent calendar. Let's start with A7.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a clarification that I understand the contributions to the Camp Greilich endowments. Can you just walk us through what our contributions were and what our receipts were?
Contributions were listed in the, there's 2 funds. The Forever Camp Greilich Fund is the fund identified to house county match dollars for the Camp Greilich endowment, which is if you're a citizen and you provide funding for Camp Greilich, that the citizen funds go into the Camp Greilich Fund. So for the Camp Greilich Fund for the year ending December 31st, 2025, the total ending balance was $437,285.64. The amount available for grants from that specific funds for 2026 is $8,770. The Forever Greilich Fund at the conclusion of 2025 is $313,128.50. Available grants for 2026 are $10,970. Director Chase, through a string of emails to Allison at the Community Foundation, we've kind of walked through what is this and why is this the amount. John can explain a little more in detail about how we are here versus maybe having a little more available to us through the 2026 grant process. But we are understanding what she is saying, and we believe these amounts are accurate.
Sure. So just a point of reference as well. So the amounts received last year, you'll see amounts on both documents. So we received from the Greilich Endowment $11,550, and for the Forever Greilich $9,990. So that's a total of $21,540 for the 2. You may be looking at that and then looking at the upcoming distributions and saying, well, we're getting less this year than we did the previous year. So the reasoning for that particular one is the amounts received in 2025 were actually a holdback from 2024 and 2025. So now we're receiving the 2025 amounts. Did I say that backward? 2023 and 2024. 2 years is basically what you had for the first distribution in 25. And so this distribution that we'll be receiving this year is for 2025. So that's the 8,770 and the 10,970. The way that they calculate those distributions is they use a 12-quarter look-back period. So they look at the average or they look at the balance in each of those 12 quarters. They average that amount, and then they pay 4% of that amount.
How long is our, I mean, I understand we've got a matching arrangement, but that's not for the Gray Lake Endowment, that's only for the Forever?
So that is where the contributions go, correct?
And I believe we've got cannabis dollars allocated to that, is that right? Set aside?
No.
We
Where-
did initially, not anymore.
We didn't, okay.
Right.
We've
So
got some
that's-
organizations that received cannabis dollars that will be doing work on property.
I guess I understood that we had agreed to a continuous match for some number of years.
I don't know that there was actually a term. I know that it was an agreement for 250,000, up to 250,000 county funds for matching purposes.
And where did that 250, because we haven't made that yet.
We receive invoices from the community foundation that we pay on a quarterly basis, Mr. Bott. So if there are funds that are coming in any given quarter, they send us an invoice and we pay that invoice.
And so I guess my question is, we have an account that was set aside to be able to match those funds, correct? Those invoices as they come in. And what fund source was originally that 250,000? Was that a cannabis?
Well, the initial match was paid out of the general fund, and the match on the 250,000 is a budgeted item in the general fund. That's in the miscellaneous contingency
It's
cost
general
center.
fund.
But as Administrator Alger mentioned, there is no term. We agreed to match 250,000 if an additional 500,000 was raised. We have made payments. I don't know what the amount is, but we can provide that information on the match.
So I'm looking at page 6 of 6 in the packet, which is the Greilich Endowment contributions and grant details. Not all of those garnered matches in 2025, is that right? There were a total of $206,000 in contributions, but we didn't match 206,000, did we? Is that not the amount, those are not those contributions, the contributions that we're matching?
So as I understand this from Allison, as an example, if you're looking at that page, the
Yep.
12/30/25.
Yep.
A donation, that was a donation that was given to us through the community foundation. So that trust that's referenced gives the community foundation a sum of money and says to the community foundation, you determine where those funds go. So they made the determination that was going to go to the Graylick Endowment. I'm expecting to see a first quarter invoice from the community foundation for 2026 that would equal that amount.
And you're gonna bring that to us, I'm hoping.
You get the quarterly reports from the community foundation.
And just to clarify, the contributions then go back into the Forever Camp Greilich Endowment, not the Greilich Endowment.
That is correct.
So the two contributions we made in 2025 that totaled 35,000, more or less, are matching funds. So
That's
we contributed 35,000 in 2025, and we received 20,000 back.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Over the two endowments, yes.
Motion to receive as presented.
Or
All right, we have a motion by Andrews, support by Henschel to receive as presented. Comments, questions, concerns?
Yeah, I'm just thinking there are some outstanding questions, and maybe it'll get cleared up after we get our quarterly invoice, but can we request that the Allison or somebody from the Community Foundation comes, maybe the beginning of like the second quarter, after we've gotten it, and understand this a little bit more, because this is really the first time we're kind of seeing the lay of the land, because I think there's some questions that only she could really answer, or the Community Foundation, so could we invite her in the second quarter after we've received that invoice?
Absolutely. I think it's a wise decision. Pardon me. Any more comments, questions, concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. We're going to move on to B3.
Yeah, this is just a simple question for Mr. Byrd. We have in our packet the continuation of government cover page.
Yes, ma'am.
Which I understand the continuity of government is basically the contingency planning in case of any number of emergency situations. But I don't think any of us have seen the document that I don't believe we're approving a cover page. I believe we're approving the document.
So Greg Byrd, Emergency Management Coordinator for the county. So continuity of government, this is the annual promulgation statement that has to be done by federal requirement every year, that basically takes our 10 continuity of operations plans, and they're updated every year. There's some sort of test, exercise, drill, training that goes on with them. And then as it's explained in my brief to you is once they're updated, once they're gone through by the executive team, and then once they're signed off as updated by either the elected official of that department and the department head and the county administrator, what the promulgation statement for continuity of government is, it's saying those 10 continuity of operations plans are now providing continuity of government. That if any one of our hazards occur, that we can continue to do the essential functions as identified in COOP. You saw that full plan in the past year. It is a sensitive and protected document, which is why we only have included the signature page for the board and the chair to say, I am promulgating under the tenements of the continuity of operations that we, for another year, 2026, we have continuity of government within our plans.
Okay, so we don't have to, because I remember going in closed session and discussing this at the beginning of last year, I believe, correct? Is that what we?
That was the emergency operations plan, but we also did it under the continuity of operations plan and continuity of government. So this will be the third year that we'll re-promulgating the plans. And the process that went on this year was after any events that may have been a continuity of operations event. The last winter heating or cooling shutdown of county buildings, power outages. We used and exercised last April the ice storm. All that is reflected within the plan contents. And then the department heads, each COOP department primary continuity of operations planner and their team went through the final quarter of the year and did a full-scale exercise. We called it a scavenger hunt. And that culminated with the updates of the plans. And as of the last plan was updated early January, so when all the plans are updated and then going through the process, then is the opportunity to do continuity of government.
Thank you.
Is there a succession plan? Is that part of the COOP? Like, say, we've had a lot of deaths from department heads and separation.
Each continuity plan includes a succession plan. The continuity of government plan for the Board of Commissioners, the governing body of this county, it includes, each plan automatically includes a succession plan for all of that. A succession plan for administration, each continuity department, emergency management, 911, all of them have succession planning. There's a pandemic plan team, succession plan. All the individual plans, of course, are different with their essential functions. And then in the instance of when we had the cyber incident, we were able to pull all those 10 plans, essential functions, throw them on the board, and then as a county, we were able to prioritize which ones we needed to bring back online, which I think successfully led to some of our more core functions, 911 law enforcement. We were able to bring them back on in a matter of minutes or hours versus a matter of days, weeks, months. and then we simply work through that. Nothing major has changed in the plan. It's just been taking current events, and it's a requirement that we have to update them. It's basically each COOP department has to have eyes on their plan at least 2 or 3 times a year. And the executive team, which is comprised of myself, administration, facilities, IT, HR, I think that's basically the whole executive team. Not only do we work with all the primary COOP planners and the essential departments, but we also, like for instance, we just had retraining on the system because we've had turnover in our departments so that we can go through and retrain some of those COOP departments on how to better manage and maintain their plans.
Is there any reason that the members of this board should understand what's in the COOP or the COG,
Or should not?
or should not? Is there a reason we don't have access to it?
There's a public document that was released to us here today.
No,
I mean, the meeting minutes, so.
No, you absolutely, well, one, you have seen both, all 10 COOP plans and had access in a brief. And you also were invited and went through, I think there was a committee of some that went through when we initially started this process. And then also when we initially promulgated for the very first time the continuity of government document, we went through. But you can have standing access to it. It's just, it wasn't put in a public packet because under federal law they are protected. It's basically our game plan that we don't want to necessarily affect if something bad happens.
I can appreciate that it's protected and it's not in the packet today, but I think it's appropriate that we have access to it whenever we see fit to have access to it, with the understanding that it is protected, and I'm sure we can figure out a way that members of this board will behave accordingly.
And last year, after the board motioned for promulgation and the chair signed the promulgation statement, we did a protected Adobe document that went out under PCII codes, that the document went out, and then a separate went out with the password to all of you so that you would have that document for your files once it was fully executed and promulgated. Right now, it's just a draft.
And so that'll happen again?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you resend for the current standing operation, the COOP? There's one standing right now, is there not?
There's 10. There's 10 different COOP plans for 10 different COOP departments or a combination of departments. And when those 10 plans are approved by the COOP departments and department heads and certified for another year, that gives us continuity of government, or COG, which is what is in front of you now, is me saying, hey, we're certified again for another year. Under COOP, we just need you to promulgate COG, execute the document, then we can send it out protected. So you can see what went into all those. It summarizes all 10 plans for you as the governing body of the county.
When will we get that email with the access?
Well, I need to have promulgation, and I need to have the chair sign it, and then I can,
So
under
next week?
PCII, absolutely, yeah.
And I'll make the motion that we authorize the chair to sign the continuity of government promulgation plan page of the plan.
Support.
We have a motion by Andrews, support by Commissioner Flynn, that we authorize the chair to sign the continuity of government promulgation page of the plan. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Fantastic. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Byrd. So we're going to go on to, what is that, B4. And so, I know the sheriff's here, but I'm not going to ask him that. So before you have a mutual aid agreement with the sheriff's office and the airport, which is fairly standard. However, I'm going to make the motion we approve this with the addition that it has a 1-year time limit. 3 years I've been on this board, all these agreements in perpetuity have come back to bite us in the unmentionables. Took us. Thank you, Mr. Flynn.
Second.
So I have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Andrews that we approve B4 with the addition of a 1-year time limit. Comments, questions, or concerns? Commissioner Nelson.
I'd like to hear from the sheriff his comments on a 1-year versus a 3-year agreement. What does that do to you?
Mike Shea, Grand Traverse County Sheriff. I'm indifferent. It just means that we have to come in front of you in a year and say, will you please sign this again?
Actually, I'd like to point out, if you go to 15, the terms of the agreement, the term of this agreement shall run from the effective date until terminated upon a party's withdrawal. That's not 1 year or 3 years.
It is on your motion, sir.
It is on the motion. That's the modification.
Let's make it 1. Thank you for pointing that out, Sheriff.
When you come back in a year, would you be able to identify for us how many times, what the mutuality was in this arrangement? How many times we sent patrol to the airport, and how many times the airport police participated in a county event?
Yeah, we certainly can.
Any more questions, comments, concerns, Commissioner Henschel?
Thank you for being here, Mr. Sheriff. Just, I guess, for the public that might not have dug into the documents, can you summarize what this does for the county, and does this involve cost sharing, or is it just basically saying, if you help us, we'll help you as needed?
It's kind of a formality, the way that I see it, and this has been reviewed by civil. Any neighboring entity that requests our assistance, we can provide it. This takes it one step further and just outlines where the duties lie. We can have that request made to us, and it states in the document that we have the right to refuse sending any resources. It clearly states what our responsibility is as far as who is in command, etc. It also states that we can withdraw any resources if we have sent them at any time. It just kind of outlines rules so that people understand what they are ahead of time. Personally, I don't know that it's even necessary, because if the airport in the past, before they had their own law enforcement, that was covered by the city police. If there was an incident at the airport, we would be going anyhow, as we will now. So I merely see this as a formality that kind of clears things up so everybody knows what the rules are ahead of time. It does, the cost is, if we go to do something, we bear that cost. However, the airport is within Grand Traverse County, so.
Great. Thank you.
Any more questions, comments, concerns, Commissioner Nelson?
Just one note, this was signed on 12/30/2025, so since then, there's been a new chair at the Northwest Regional Airport Authority, so if you want to make that correction, or that can be corrected at the time of signature.
Good catch, Commissioner Nelson. Thank you. More comments, questions, concerns? I'm going to guess this is going to be a roll call vote, if you please, Ms. Coyle.
Henschel,
Yes.
Allister,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Spence,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Andrews, Lynn,
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate your time today. Going to move on to B12. I believe this was Commissioner Andrews. Is that
Yeah,
right?
there's, I just want to clarify that because the motion is a little confusing as presented in the packet. It says to assign either a staff person or a willing commissioner, and I'm not sure how we execute on something like that. I think the request had been two-part. One is to approve the recommendation to retain MGT, and the second was to task the R&R ad hoc, the retention and recruitment, thank you, ad hoc, to work with legal counsel to draft a contract consistent with the cost proposal and authorize the chair to execute it. Those are the two action items that we need today, not to assign a staff person or a willing commissioner to work with a consultant, which is not self-executing. So I guess I'm going to make the motion that we approve the retention and recruitment ad hoc committee's recommendation to retain MGT as the consultant for performance reviews, and that we task the R&R ad hoc to work with legal counsel to draft a contract consistent with the cost proposal in response to the RFP, and authorize the board chair to execute it upon approval by legal counsel.
Support that,
I'm sorry, I missed the support. Was that you, Commissioner Spence?
right here.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Andrews. Ms. Coyle, are you clear on that?
I'll get it.
All right, support by Commissioner Spence. Mr. Elger, I believe you had something you wanted to add?
That is correct. That was agreed upon at the agenda setting committee.
All right, Commissioner Henschel.
Okay, do I understand correctly, the motion on the floor is now to approve the contract that's not even been written or seen yet?
No. It is, I'll read it again.
Okay.
The motion is to approve the Recruitment and Retention Ad Hoc Committee's recommendation to retain MGT as the consultant for performance reviews, and to task the R&R Ad Hoc to work with legal counsel to draft a contract consistent with a cost proposal in the response to the RFP, and authorize the board chair to execute it upon approval by legal counsel.
Okay, so the motion is to draft a contract that hasn't been written yet, and then go ahead and authorize the chairman to execute. It just sounds like a blank check to me. I want to be clear.
So you may be missing the part where it says consistent with the cost proposal in response to the RFP. So
Okay.
if you go to the RFP from MGT, it's got a very specific layout of what the costs are and what they're for. So
Okay.
the contract that we're tasking our legal counsel to draft would be to basically take the cost proposal they've presented and turn it into a contract. So I don't think it's a blank check. I think the number is 24
Okay.
and some
So
change.
the scope of the motion is within the numbers we already have. Okay.
Yeah, that may be confusing because it's
Yep.
sort of within a link within a link.
Yep. And I'll just, for flavor, anytime you execute a contract, the most important thing is how you get out of it if you need to.
Is that clear to?
Speaking right to my heart, my friend.
Counsel?
Speaking right to my heart.
Couple years, we all know that. We understand.
This a one-year contract?
I think so, it's not.
Just for the,
That's just for this particular incident.
what we approved.
It's the second link in our package. There's two links, there's 2 interviews, and it was the interview from Thursday, February 5th, and it's MGT's proposal.
And the cost proposal is on page 13 of their submission.
Yep, have that. I'm just wondering, this is at this point, it's a one-time,
Yes.
Yes. No perpetuity. Any more comments, questions, or concerns? All right. Motion by Commissioner Andrews, support by Commissioner Spence. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Thank you, everyone.
Don't we have to do a roll call if it's money?
No?
We already approved the money, we just approving the contract.
Let's do a roll call.
Okay. If that is the will of the board, by all means, let's do a roll call vote. Mrs. Coyle, if you please.
Alistair?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Elson?
yes.
Spence?
Yes.
Walter?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Yes.
Henschel?
Aye.
Seifert?
Yes. Thank you, everyone. So it wraps up 7. Let's go to 8A, departmental items. 911 dispatch. Corey, I think that's you.
I'm back.
Good morning, everybody, again.
Yeah.
Morning.
So we are proposing a call handling solution. I believe it was back in June that I was here and I presented a cancellation of an intergovernmental agreement that we have with surrounding counties. So we share this phone system with just about every 911 center from here up to Mackinac City. And we are all victims of it. It has been a real challenge, all the technological problems that we've had with that. And most of the other centers are jumping off and going to a different solution, and this is just a proposal to follow suit. So the problem is this current system is so fraught with technological problems, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's to the point where it is affecting our operations from time to time. One of my people will go to answer a 911 call and the system just decides to reboot itself. Right now we have some fail safes in place to make sure that we keep that call and somebody else can grab it. But that's the severity of the issues that we're having. And we're being told that it is going to get worse from here. The current vendor is unwilling to do what it takes to repair it. And unless we give them a dollar amount similar to what's being proposed here in the RFP. So at this point, I'm ready to get rid of it and move on, as are the other centers that are in our partnership. So the solution that we have selected is a more modern system, a more sleek system, and something that gives us far more functionality, and I believe makes it easier on our 911 call takers to handle the 911 calls. Obviously, it won't be fraught with the same issues as our current system has. It's going to be brand new and going to function at a lot higher level. So we issued an RFP in December and just wanted to walk you a little bit through the process of evaluating those RFPs. We got 4 responses. And we developed a rubric for evaluating those responses that went heavy on the technical compliance. And I could just bore you to death with all the details, but I'm going to try not to do that. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about it, though. And then you see also there that there were several other requirements that we had on there that were weighted a little bit less than the technical requirements, including SLA. Of course, that is service level agreements, which we think is very important. So how that all tallied out was to show that Resilient was slightly better, mostly just on the some small technical areas, but it's very close between them and Vesta, which is a Motorola product. And then we went ahead and we contacted the vendor that we selected, and they sent somebody up here. Jeff is here from InDigital Technologies. It's a company out of Indiana. We've worked with InDigital. I've known Jeff for years. We've worked with InDigital on some other areas called Next Generation Core 911 Services, and so that is a vendor that we know and that we trust. We would just expand our relationship with InDigital to also include this call handling system. They would be giving us the support that we have. The company we currently have is out of Colorado, and they don't even have anybody in the state that can work on this thing. And so we think that this will not only be a advantage in our operation, but it'll also be an advantage in getting us more support and maintenance for the 911 system. This is our most important system. When you call 911, you're calling into this system, and it's really important that this thing is up and running well 99.999% of the time. And so that's my recommendation to the board, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Before we get started, can you, Jeff, is it Jeff?
Jeff, yeah.
See, I'm calling everybody by the wrong name today. Please come up to the podium, introduce yourself, and then we're going to start with Commissioner Henschel. I'm sure he has lots of good questions.
I'm Jeff Hoffman. I've been with InDigital for about 4 years now. Started as a field technician, and now I'm a sales engineer. So I have over 25 years of telecommunications experience. I most recently worked in the cell site industry for Ericsson, supporting Sprint. I did that for about 8 years prior, and worked in other telecommunication jobs before that. So,
thank you. Commissioner Henschel.
Thank you. Corey, thanks for being here today and the passion with which you execute your duty as the head of our Central Dispatch. Thank you for that. Question from last week was, we do have texting ability to our 911 dispatchers. Is that ability also available on our non-emergent line?
No, we do not have that. We have a vendor on our non-emergent line called Aurelian AI, and they do have that capacity to provide that. We've been more focused on the call-taking side of things with Aurelian, but that is a possibility that we could explore that in the future, have like a hotline. The tension comes about a lot of those calls, we don't really, they're coming to the wrong place in the first place, and whether that should fit into like a 211 type of architecture more than the central dispatch.
Or a 411.
I'm sorry, 411, yeah.
Well, we have both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question would be, if we're transitioning to a whole new vendor, first of all, what sets this vendor apart? I guess what would be different from another vendor, which I think you kind of touched on already with our past experiences. But I think for the public, it's important to understand the transition. Will there be any downtime? Will there be any, blackout for we're going to be off for 10 minutes and you can't call 911 or anything like that?
Yeah. So addressing that last part first, we have a system that's provided by InDigital already that kind of backs up our 911 system. So I could go upstairs and I could knock out our 911 system right now and we would still be up and running. It's a little bit lower tech type of system. It's something called Mevo, and it is a phone that sits on the desk for the dispatchers. So if our 911 system goes down, boom, gone. Okay, we switch over to the Mevos, and it's pretty seamless. So in this transition, we could do something like that. We believe that we could stay up and running even when we switch from one system to the other. In answer to the question of what makes this Resilient Edge system stand out, that's really where the RFP dug into what the responses were telling us. And the requirement that we had that not many vendors, as a matter of fact, only 2 of the vendors that responded could actually show us how they did it. The requirement that we had is that it is a hybrid system. So that it exists in a box that lives here, but if that box goes down, it also exists in the cloud. And so if something catastrophic were to happen here, God knows what that would be. I don't want any of it. But if it did happen, we could still be up and running because we're backed up in the cloud. Or vice versa, if something happened in the cloud, which does happen from time to time, there are outages, we still have the system existing here that would still be up and running. So most call take, for instance, right now, all our call taking capabilities is right here. There's a fire in the back room, right? Or one of the other vendors proposed a call taking system that exists solely in the cloud, and there's nothing here. We wanted something that was hybrid, so we have that safety in place that in case something happened either place, we're still up and running. We can still provide 911 services to the county.
Okay. And if both with this system, if both the local server and the cloud server are offline, would our calls reroute to another dispatch center?
We would first reroute those to our Mevos. Those are those phones that sit on the desk that I told you about. And then if it was something like an evacuation type of scenario, we had to get out of here, we would temporarily send those to a different 911 center until we could get up and running somewhere mobile. The other thing, and you reminded me of this, Commissioner, the other thing about this system is it does have mobile capabilities. Right now, without our server in the back room, we can't really do anything if we got to get out of here. This gives us a mobile capability where we could be running 911 on a laptop outside of this facility.
Okay, and at some point in the future, you'll be moving to a new hardened facility. This would better facilitate that move as well.
That's absolutely correct. So that we could be up and running even during that move. Also, it is like there's a huge server rack with all kinds of equipment upstairs that we have just to run 911. This footprint is much tinier using micro technology, and so we could literally pick it up by ourselves and take it over to the new center and be pretty seamlessly up and running over there.
Great. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Nelson, did you have some questions?
Yeah, 3 of them. So, first one, how old is the system that you're proposing to replace?
It much like me, it is far too young to be so broken down. We went online with this system in 2021. We were hoping to get 10 years out of it. And it has not happened. And I think we've all bought a motor vehicle that we hoped we would get more out of, and it didn't happen, and lemons happen.
Yeah, I thought I'd remembered putting this in. Is there any kind of performance guarantee or any issues with any refunds coming with the old system, or is that bad money gone?
Much like the broke down lemon, we didn't pay much for it because we got it on a grant from the FCC at the time, and so the FCC gave a grant to the state. State 911 committee distributed those grant funds as long as there was a cooperative effort to bring the center up to something that's called Next Generation 911. And so this got us kind of Next Generation 911. It was a little sketchy. This new system that we're proposing gets us to a newer version of the latest standards, and so it's a superior product. As far as getting money back, we didn't really pay much to it at the time, and we're paying about $25,000 a year for the support that we're not getting. And so we would be recouping something like that.
Okay.
I didn't see anything in the contract that gave us that clawback, though.
Okay. I couldn't remember what we had spent at the time. Secondly, so like Resilient Edge is a company called InDigital, so Jeff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or as I just call everyone, Mr. Fisher.
Your channel partner with Resilient. So Resilient is its own company.
You might need to come to the mic, I'm sorry. For those.
So we are InDigital, we are channel partners with Resilient. Resilient is its own company. with its own engineers, project managers, and folks that sell the system and do demos. So they're a whole company that supports this platform.
So the money that we're looking at here, this is inclusive of digital and resilient. It's all, there's not additional
and it
charges.
works flawlessly with PFN, the PFN EZNet that's providing 911 to the state of Michigan. Yes.
Okay. And then my last question has to do with the, says that these are contingency funds, the large 359, 457, 19. Can you talk more about that?
So, as I mentioned before, in my head, and this is my fault, this is just me being dumb, I was assuming that new center, new phone, that this would all be a part of Project Alpha. Two problems with that. We talked about the FFE issue. There's a definition between Project Alpha and other things. This fits into the other things, and I wasn't thinking about that when it came to budgetary forecasting. I thought of this as Project Alpha. That's my fault. The second problem is I was hoping to build this out as we were building the new center, and our current system is getting so bad that this is becoming a crisis situation that we have to step up the timeline. Regarding all-in pricing, yes, this is everything. So InDigital gets paid, Resilient gets paid. That is reflected in this proposal. For sure, there might be some additional costs we have to make because of some statutory limitations on internet access. 911 funds paying for, but that's going to be pretty minimal.
So will the ongoing charges be covered by the 911 surcharge?
That's correct, they will be.
Okay, so then I guess Mr. Bott, let's talk about the 359, 457. Where's that money coming from?
Those funds will come from the 911 fund. There's sufficient cash and fund balance in that fund to cover this purchase.
So that's a 911 contingency.
It's, yeah, and I think when he mentions contingency, we always budget a contingency. We're fortunate that the surcharge revenue provides more than sufficient funding for current operations, but part of that funding is for capital needs and technology as it needs to be replaced. So it's not a budget excess, it's just we put those funds in a contingency until we know, what expenditure line item needs to be amended to cover the purchase. This will be a budget amendment, but it's within the amount that's currently budgeted within the fund.
So it's a true statement then that the 911 surcharge is paying for 100% of this, the implementation and ongoing?
Correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And also, just to not put too fine a bow on it, but I also have a line item in my budget for contingency, and that will cover this.
Okay, that's my questions at this point.
Also great questions. Commissioner McAllister.
I had one. Did we talk to the other counties? There's 83 counties in the state of Michigan of who actually does well with it, what they use, and I guess what's the leading technology and what's working for other people?
Yeah, we've been shopping around on this for over a year, talking to other counties. There's a lot of churn in the industry because there's a lot of typical corporate stuff where the big dogs are buying up all the littler ones, but there's the startups that are coming out. This would be more on the startup category, but the background of the people that started this product are from an older system that Motorola bought up and got rid of, even though it was a great system. And so, yeah, we've done quite a bit of research on all of these. The most popular one in the state is Vesta, which is the other bid that was on this RFP. That is a Motorola product, and that is probably the leader. Probably number 2 in the state is the system that we currently have that is not working well.
So Vesta is kind of like the standard in the industry?
Yeah, it is, and it's great. As you see, it scored very high for us. We did like it. The price tag does make you stop and think, though.
That was the pricey one, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was Carbine, wasn't it?
So my question would be, not being about dollars, what's the actual best system? And what would perform the best as opposed to what costs the most?
As you can tell in our evaluation, I'll just bring it up on the screen for you, we're pretty sure that they're going to be fairly similar. And not only that, but they have the same company supporting them, and that would be InDigital. So I would be fairly confident with Vesta. We've demoed that. We've talked to people that have it, and they're like, it's just a phone. It works all the time. It's great. And so some of the hesitation that I would have with it are some minor technical details. But as you see, Resilient has some, I'll put it this way. Resilient is sleeker, and it is it has less of a hardware footprint, and it gives us more mobile options. Those are the technical details that edged Resilient out over Vesta.
Okay, and you said you're not really, not that you're not concerned, but you're not really doing text, that type of stuff, so if there's somebody being attacked or something like that, they can't get on the phone and say, hey, somebody's attacking me, but they could text and quiet. Is that not something that happens, or how does that work?
Yeah, they're fairly rare, but we do currently have text to 911 technology. It's also provided by InDigital, our technical partners on that. And at any time, and it's important the public knows this, at any time you can't call, and it may be that there's somebody breaking in your house or something like that that's terrible, or it may just be that you're out back on a Vasa trail or something and you just don't have enough coverage on your cell phone to actually get out. It takes less data to text. So you might be able to text to 911 when you can't call 911. And we currently have that technology. People do use it, and it really is a game changer. Another thing about that, since you brought this up, Commissioner, another advantage to this Resilient system is we have InDigital's text to 911 system on a browser window, and it works great. We're happy with it. This new solution will be able to bring it into our phone, so that you not only are you interacting with a caller on the phone, but you can also interact with them through text on one program, and that's one less thing that we have to have up while we are taking calls. Our 911 heroes upstairs, they're juggling 14 different software programs at once. If we could condense that, that's going to make it a whole lot easier on them.
All my questions.
Good question as well. Anybody else? Commissioner Andrews?
Yeah, if you could pull up the slide that shows the cost analysis, I have a question about the annual cost versus the,
Sure.
It's in our packet, but I don't see it in the slide. I'm looking at the cost analysis that's linked in the packet.
Page 38 of 82.
Yep, that's the one.
439, oh, yeah.
From there, that's what I'm looking at.
Don't panic.
I like
Two.
that.
That's. There we go. Great, thank you. So I'm interested in the annual, right, so obviously Edge, we're mostly honed in on Edge and Vesta. Edge is substantially more on the implementation side than Vesta, but the savings come in the annual. Can you explain why Vesta's annual time and labor or annual cost is, what, triple almost, 2.5 times? That's a huge difference, and it must reflect something different in kind, not just quantity.
You would think, but we didn't see any significant difference other than the fact that it's Motorola. Now, that is industry standard. They are fantastic. We have them for our radios, and we pay a lot of money for their support. And so that is one factor, Commissioner, I believe. The other factor is this was some aggressive salesmanship when you took a look at their response to the proposal. That number under their implementation is them slashing their usual implementation fee by half. So I believe that it's not too much of a stretch to say that get a good price on implementation, but get your money in the long run.
And then are we going to lock in that annual cost for the Edge in order to achieve that 5-year savings?
Yes,
That's a 5-year contract you're anticipating?
that is what I'm anticipating, yep.
And that'll come back to us for approval?
Yes.
And is InDigital covered in that annual cost, or is InDigital in addition labor and?
We would be paying InDigital, and they would cover the rest with Resilient.
Okay. Those are all my questions.
Commissioner Spence?
Was a guarantee or a warranty already talked about or covered?
Yes.
What do
So,
they offer?
Yeah, within the responses to the RFP, there is a section that we evaluated called SLA, so Service Level Agreements, where they agree to a certain minimum uptime of our 911 system. And if there is a critical failure, they're going to respond within 4 hours. If there is a important but non-critical failure, they're going to respond within 8 hours, et cetera, all down. And that's all lined out in the RFP response.
Yeah, I meant the lifespan. Like you said that this last grant purchased system was supposed to last 10 years. Hopefully it only lasted 4.
Yeah.
So what about this? Like how long of a lifespan do we expect with this?
We're expecting at least 5 years, just because of technological issues. A computer doesn't last much more than 3. And so on my replacement cycle for our computers upstairs, we're on a 3-year replacement cycle. This is a much smaller footprint hardware-wise, so I'm expecting 5 years, and then we're going to have to start replacing hardware at that point, just as a reasonable idea. However, as far as the software functioning, that is where I am expecting that to be a 10-year issue, with a caveat. This technology is changing really fast. So you see all the technology changes that you have on your cell phones and wireless devices and those kinds of things. We're trying to keep up with all of that, but the industry, in my opinion, Jeff, you might be different on me, we always seem to be 2 or 3 years behind the advances that the telecoms are making with their devices. So I don't see any reason why this can't be a 10-year software, other than there's something coming down the road that I'm not seeing that could completely change. I mean, think about Wi-Fi calling, for instance. It drives us crazy. We're built on a system that is meant to function on landline phones in your residence, right? And now, my kids, they don't know how to do anything on their phones without Wi-Fi, because they don't call somebody, they don't punch in numbers or anything like that. They're getting somebody on WhatsApp or on some sort of messenger or FaceTime, those kinds of things. So there's going to be some sort of technological change down the road, how we can incorporate that Wi-Fi type of internet interaction into 911, I'm sure. It's not here yet, and we'll have to see what that requires for changes to our technology.
So we're going to pick this up and take it to the new building, and because it's so transportable, as you had explained earlier, but what else will we need to complete this 911 central dispatch call handling system at the new building?
It shouldn't take much. We're going to take, because the software is portable, like we can put it on a laptop or we can put it on one of our stations. It shouldn't take too much other than just transporting it over there. And like I said, it takes up about 13 inches of rack space, which is amazing when you see the monstrosity that we currently have up there. They've been able to condense that all over there. And because it is backed up in the cloud, we'll be able to just turn it off here, switch over to the cloud-based, and be functional at both locations at the same time. Then get it installed, turn it back on, and then we'll be back up to full functionality. So it's going to be a really awesome experience.
So we'll just apply this $350 cost for this new system. We'll apply it to outfitting your needs at the Project Alpha building when we start filling it up.
So it's going to be about a 6-month implementation period, which is on the shorter side when it comes to technology. So if we got this going, let's say in March, right, we're going to be 6 months out before having it functional here. And at that point, things are going to be getting a little dicey with our current system. And then, of course, we'll be able to switch over to Project Alpha. We're anticipating an occupancy somewhere around June. That should work out for us. The problem is we're going to need that phone up and running before then. And it's going to need to run here as well as take it over to the new center.
Hey, thanks
Sure.
so much.
Any more comments, questions, or concerns for Corey or Jeff? Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Entertain a motion. I'll just even make the motion that we approve the acquisition of Brazilian Edge 901 for central dispatch call handling system as presented.
Support.
I have support by Commissioner Nelson. We'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Coyle, please.
Thanks for your presentation.
Morris,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Spence,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Andrew, sorry, Andrews,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Henschel,
Yes.
McAllister,
Yes.
Seifert.
Yes. Thank you.
And just to clarify, that is going to be a 5-year annual cost contract included. That's not spelled out in the motion, but.
In the packet. All righty, well then let's take a 10-minute break, everyone. Thank you so much. See you at 10:35. So I reread that. 10:37 a.m. Moving to 8B, change emergency alert notification systems. Mr. Byrd, I think it's your turn.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Greg Byrd, Emergency Management Coordinator. Oh, we screwed that thing down. It's kind of obtrusive. I didn't know I couldn't move it.
Every day.
It's been an adventure since October when I appeared before you to redo the contract for Code Red. An adventure is kind of putting it mildly. Since that time, as you saw in your packet, there's a timeline there. The biggest thing that occurred with our current vendor after renegotiating a contract and starting the upgrade process was they had a data breach in November that shut down their entire system. We were in good shape because we were already converting, so the data breach really didn't hurt us, but subsequent things that have happened since then, overwriting our data, which took us back a year, which was a lot, and there's some ongoing service gaps that have occurred that where it didn't cause us major problems, did cause us problems that had to be a lot of adapting and overcoming. And there were probably some service things that we could have been able to do better if we had total grip of our system and functionality like we did in the past. Today I stand in front of you, and the further complication matters. We were supposed to get IPAWS back on the 13th. We filed for FEMA to give us our certificate, and subsequently the federal government shut down again. So we still don't have our federal function. We only have our local function alerting process. Anyway, in conversations with administration, I said, you know, we have to rebuild this whole system now instead of just upgrading and converting our data, plus the data breach, loss of functionality. Let's see what else is out there. I'm a continual student of systems. I just don't see the need to bring things to you all the time that aren't broken. Now it's broken. In the process of that and evaluating other companies, as I explained in here, we came upon two that we thought would service us the best. We don't only use the system like some other jurisdictions just simply to be there to do emergency alert and warnings. It's actually a part of our ongoing daily operations within 911 with alerting specialized teams through the region. It is our primary method of alerting our employees, even for simple things of the buildings shut down or things of that nature, of notices. So I picked two other competitors to evaluate. We did primary evaluations. The assistant emergency manager and I did primary evaluations with both of those companies. And in the process of reviewing what my recommendation is with HQE systems, some light bulbs popped on of how we're doing things, needs that have been brought up for employee safety, voids in a system that aren't necessarily emergent to do, but future projects that this company and this system may help. So we did a second evaluation that I invited the county administrator, Chris Reithel from Human Resources, the chair of the county safety team. Chris Forsyth was invited as administration. IT had two representatives there. 911 was there. Facilities was there just because of the multiple future growth opportunities. And collectively, I can report that they were unanimous that this was the system that we needed to convert to if it was affordable for us. So unless you want me to go into further detail, I tried to be as succinct but detailed in the process. I did not include a quote package from Code Red because they're our current vendor, and I had just appeared in front of you with a new system brief in October. That's who we're using now. But all of this falls within my existing 2026 budget. It is a 5-year contract that's locking us in. I will bring up this proposed HQE solution that I wanted to draw your attention because there is some pricing in there that's above and beyond what I'm asking for. But I signified, and I'm sorry it's small print, but it is page 7 in your packet. The now feature is all I'm asking for today. There are future options I'm very excited about, as well as the other department heads, to add to our employee safety repertoire and to add to our citizen safety repertoire, including some things that we don't currently have the ability to do. But I'm not asking for that today. I need to learn more about it. I want to learn more about it. My priority is I really need to get back online with a fully functional, easy-to-use emergency alert notification system. And that's what I'm asking today.
Any questions for Mr. Byrd? Commissioner Nelson?
Just to clarify, it was a question I had when I was looking at this. Now is not Code Red, now is the HQE proposed?
Correct. Now is to propose to give Code Red, under their contract, a 30-day notice of leaving. We have our data that we have inputted so many times over the past 3 months and move to a 5-year contract with HQE, which, even though it's a 5-year contract to give us the best discount of the full system, there's still, we can leave anytime during those 5 years without penalty. We just have to serve them standard 30 to 45-day notice.
I just wanted that clarified for those looking at this for the first time, because when I first looked at it, it took me a second to realize that that was not Code Red, so.
Commissioner Henschel?
This might be for administration, but I noticed the agenda item has a recommended motion to authorize the county administrator to sign a 5-year contract. Typically, it's the chairman. I was wondering if there's a reason that specifies the administrator versus the chairman.
I didn't create the agenda item.
I did. That's probably my oversight.
Okay.
He had signed the Code Red. The motion in October for a similar contract with Code Red was authorizing the administrator to sign it, and I duplicated that process. If it needs to be the chair, I have no problem with sending the chair the contract.
Either one works. It's just kind of a tradition. The chairman signs the contracts, and then he's on the line. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to authorize the chairman to sign a 5-year contract with HQE Systems to provide emergency alert and notification system services to the Grand Traverse County, included in the 2026 budget.
I'll support that.
Fantastic. We have a motion by Commissioner Henschel, supported by Commissioner Spence, to approve the purchase as presented with the caveat that the chair signs it, not the administrator. Commissioner Walter?
Thanks. What's the plan for transitioning the people who are signed up for the Code Red alerts to this? Like, can you just move that data over, or do people have to sign up again? Can you tell us about what that looks like?
Yes, both. We will capture our data that we have now, including our employees and city employees, as well as the small database of citizens. That is one of my sticking points and points that have made me not very happy with Code Red. Of when we started the conversion from a legacy to the new in October, I knew that our citizen database had close somewhere between 30 and 50,000 contacts. It's not people, that's contacts in there. When we moved and then the data breach happened and they rewrote our data back to March, somehow that dropped to 9,000. And they haven't been able to explain why. So our citizens, we will capture what data we have, but then we will also go through a new enrollment, very robust marketing, putting it out again through all of our municipal sources, do a press release. This new system, one thing I'm excited about is it no longer asks a citizen to capture name, email, address. It asks them to register their phone number only and their address.
Great. Good.
It's faster, it's simpler. There's some things for visitors, campground, they can hit a QR code, they can register for only the 3 days that they're in the county, and then it automatically takes them back out of the system. So, yes, both. We will do both.
And will we keep asking for those other, the
Absolutely.
data? Because that's probably pretty frustrating for you and for people who are expecting.
From my understanding, their last backup that they did was from March of 2025, and what we have is what we get.
Okay. And then, will we just keep calling it Code Red, or?
Nope. It will have a new name. It's a new system. It'll have a new name. And we will promote that.
Okay, thank you. Two things. One, what I like about Code Red is that when I was traveling and there was local alerts, I would be notified because, you see on the TV, some county, I don't know what county I'm in necessarily, but this would notify me. Is that going to happen with this HQE?
So the app that you have that notifies you when traveling where you are in the United States, that's a standalone app that you don't have to get rid of. You can still have that app on your phone, and in jurisdictions that have Code Red, you'll still get that notification. There will be a new app for here that will notify you, and HQE is other places within the United States, but I'm not sure if that standalone app will, I assume it will, it's on the GPS of your phone, but more to
I'll
come
look
on
at it.
that.
I thought it was Code Red, but who knows?
Yeah, it's Code Red, it's a standalone app, and there's two separate systems. The app is to anybody. You registering within our system gets you notifications. So the new system, you notify or you register your home address, it'll still notify you wherever you travel internationally. The app, if there is an app, it would only do for that local area you're in, and I believe they're all fairly similar. It just might be a different app. But you can keep the Code Red app, and it'll work that same way.
Okay, thanks. And then the second question, since the administrator was involved in this, I just want to invite you to make any comments, if you had any. You might not.
Thank you, Commissioner Nelson. It was a very good demonstration, and there's a lot of functionality here, specifically within the future options that really aren't currently existing with Code Red. So the gentleman, I can't remember his name, Jamie, that did the presentation, did a very nice job explaining current status and future options, and we're excited to move forward. I share Greg's concern about the missing data, because that is a problem for us to regain that potentially up to 50,000 contacts. But yeah, I think it was a very impressive demonstration.
Thank you. You triggered my memory. One of the things the new system gives us that we don't currently have is it gives us the ability for any employee within our building or connected to our network. It gives us the ability, if we do an emergency, like if there's an evacuation notice, it lets us do a pop-up on their computer monitors. We don't have that functionality now, and it's been asked for. And that was one of the reasons we had IT in the room for this, to make sure that it would be something that could be done within our system. And that is one of the newer functions that will happen under the now option that we couldn't do that before. So we're pretty excited about that functionality to better give our employees more warning than we could now.
All right, thank you. Any more comments, questions, concerns? There's a motion on the floor. All right, so all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have no unfinished business. We will go to new business. We had an item added when we approved the agenda. Administrator Alger, when you're ready, could you set us up for that, please?
Yes, so you were present in a meeting a couple of weeks ago when Mr. Moger, Isaiah Moger, presented at the podium his concerns about a FOIA that he had requested, some information specific to an arrest that he had been involved in, and we directed him to the prosecuting attorney's office to file an appeal for the denial of the FOIA request. That appeal is due tomorrow. We received correspondence from Mr. Moger's father, I believe, indicating that he was not going to be able to be at this meeting today. So that information was shared with Prosecutor Mogenberg and the FOIA coordinator. They provided some information yesterday that I stuck in an agenda item for you to consider today. Essentially, we're asking that you listen to the appeal or review the appeal and make a decision on granting or denying his appeal. Prosecutor Mogenberg has provided you a memo indicating the reasons for the redactions. Those are statutorily redactions that are approved by state law, and her recommendation stands in her memo.
Comments, questions? Commissioner Angel.
So this is someone in my district who did reach out to me prior to showing up at our meeting, and I don't know the facts, so I'll just relay what was relayed to me from him. Is he had got pulled over in Crawford County for driving and didn't have a registration. There was a fine set. He either didn't pay or didn't show up to court, so there was a bench warrant, which Grand Traverse County, for whatever reason, I don't know if he had, blinker out or something, they pulled him over, and then they what do they call it, extradited? Is that what they call that? To the other county, because he had a bench warrant. And what I see and that was sent to us is the request. It's a little vague because it just says arrest in Wood Creek neighborhood of Traverse City, and he gives the date. He wants the documents surrounding that. if we're being forthcoming and we're doing our best to give good customer service and give people as much documentation as they're asking for without, really putting a big cost on the taxpayers. But there's probably some body cam footage, there's probably a dispatch record, there's probably more things than what was denied. It looks like the prosecutor just took this and said, well, it's law enforcement, so we deny it. When I think there's probably something we could give them. So I don't know, I'd like to hear everyone else's thoughts, but that was my initial thought when I saw this request, like, there's something we could give them. I know we can't give everything, but.
I thought so too, but it's not up to me to know what that is.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes, so I'm confused by this because the statute that's cited specifically allows, so LEAN, right? Law Enforcement Information Network data, it says LEAN data. But the exception that's cited, 28.214, specifically says that the prosecuting attorney in a criminal case may disclose to the defendant information pertaining to that defendant that was obtained from LEAN. You are entitled to the information about you.
Yeah.
This is not his ex-wife.
Right, he's asking for it for him.
For himself. Yeah. And it also references the CFR rules, and the CFR rules are also very clear that the agency may communicate to the individual the information pertaining to their warrant, information pertaining to their mental state. I mean, this is information about him that he's asking for.
Yeah.
What is the basis for denying that?
I didn't understand that either.
Does anyone
Totally
see
agree.
it differently?
Well, I don't have the documents, so all I can rely on here are what has been asserted in the response from the prosecutor. The two exemptions are claimed are, the exemptions are discretionary, so you don't have to claim an exemption under FOIA. The reason the exemptions exist and why you shouldn't make a difference between who's requesting the information is to protect from disclosure things that should not be disclosed, like this personally identifiable information is one of the reasons cited. The second one is records of lien. I'm not a criminal defense attorney. I don't want to opine on what he'd be entitled to through that process and discovery in these records. I just want to note that when responding to a FOIA request, the identity of the requester is not dispositive on whether or not an exemption is claimed. Doesn't mean that it can't, that's why you're here. You are the review panel. You can decide to uphold the denial, reverse the denial, or modify it in some way. That's the discretion that's given to you under FOIA. The only slight concern I have is not knowing what the lien information is, and that if it is truly related to this individual as a defendant, I agree with Commissioner Andrews, could be disclosed under that statute. If it's not, then we might have a problem with an unauthorized lien disclosure.
And we don't know because we don't have the redactions. We don't have enough information in front of us to tell what was redacted.
So another option that is available under statute is, I'll just read this to you. Under unusual circumstances, issue a notice extending for not more than 10 business days, the period during which the head of the public body shall respond to a written appeal. So you can issue, instead of making a determination today, a notice of extension that you will review it within 10 business days from today.
So made.
Second. Sorry, that was you, Commissioner Hensel. I'll let you have it.
No, I'll support it, and I just say that my opinion is, without any other information, anything that's not protected by lien, that would be a violation of our agreement with lien, I think he should have it.
And I agree, and I think but the valid point was made by Commissioner Walter and Mr. Nordford that we don't know what we don't know. So I would suggest, I'm going to take a stab at the feeling of the board is, before we vote, is that if you want us to deny it, you better tell us what we're denying.
Yeah.
Because it's of the people, by the people, for the people.
And this does lead into the wider conversation of how we handle FOIAs in general, and how we handle FOIA appeals. When I spoke to him on the phone, we don't have a process. All we have is, well, you talk to administration, they'll figure something out. We kind of need steps 1 through 5 on how to appeal, and I really want to be known as a pro-transparency county, even though other counties or state agencies might be withholding things, I'd like to be known for being forthcoming. And I tell people all the time, they ask me about a FOIA, just ask me. If I got it, I'll give it to you. I mean, if it's not a restricted document, I'll just give it. You don't got to go through some formal process. And I think we're here to serve the taxpayers as our customer. So, let's be transparent.
All right. If there's no further comments,
So,
questions?
I mean, I think that's a thread that we've tugged at a few times over the years. Every time one of these come in front of us, we're all a little scratching our head because it feels like an ad hoc process every time. The information provided, the opportunity to understand what's being withheld, what was provided, we just don't know. And I am going to urge our Policy Review Committee, I think is the best place to start this, needs to maybe start with FOIA. And including the process, the policy and the process. So I think I'll make a motion after we're done with this to.
Slow down.
Yep.
Let's vote
Does
on
the
them.
10,
Motion on the floor, let's start with that.
The motion is to extend it 10 days, but does that give us enough?
Business days, so 10
Okay.
business days, which would align nicely with your next
Okay,
regularly
our,
scheduled board meeting.
our next scheduled work meeting.
Yep.
Business meeting, okay.
Yep.
All right, is Christine clear on the motion?
Got it.
Okay.
Sweet. Well, Ms. Coyle, if you do a roll call vote, please, on this. Thank you.
Bring your microphone closer to you, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can
Sorry,
barely
Lloyd-
hear you.
Lloyd, I'm
Lloyd's
keeping
gonna
you
get onto
the
you.
wrath of
Yeah.
Lloyd.
Right. You don't want to hear me, you really don't. We have got Nelson,
Yes.
Spence,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Andrews,
Yes.
Flynn,
Yes.
Henschel,
Yes.
Allister,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Seifert?
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Before Commissioner Andrews goes down the policy review thing, this is not the first time in the 3 years I've said, or that we had to hurry up and have an emergency thing about FOIA. I sent everyone an email that I received from the prosecuting attorney detailing the perils of FOIA in her office. So I'm going to make the motion that Mr. Alger work with his administrative staff to bring back 2 proposals to us at the second meeting and business meeting in March, moving the FOIA coordinator position either to under directly him, and the other proposal will be in the IT department. I believe Commissioner Henschel has said many times that AI is the way, and then it's not. But I mean, it seems like a natural fit for our discussion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or comments?
I'll just to clarify my comments, AI is great when coupled with a human. You
My
can't
apologies,
just
I
trust it
concur.
without checking it.
Might I suggest it be a little more broad in that, that the administration explore options related to the FOIA office, the FOIA director, so that we don't box him into one or the other?
I would like them to answer closer to us than farther away from us than they do.
I think the administrator has discretion if the 2 that he's been directed to present or to provide proposals on are insufficient and a 3rd should be looked at. I don't think there's anything in this motion that prevents the administrator from saying, well, I looked at IT, I looked at admin, here's what you asked for, but I also looked at something else.
Could we give
Status
that-
quo.
Could we give a nod ahead of consensus then that directs the administrator with this motion that to look at any and all other options? You might find something better in the process, I guess, is where I'm looking at.
It's possible.
Yeah, AB, above and beyond.
There you go.
That
To include but not limited to. I'll accept that a friendly amendment.
Yeah, that's
Commissioner
You have
Nelson.
to
a-
include but not limited
I
to.
like that.
Got it, Nate?
I would suggest putting a date on that.
I did. The second business meeting in March. It's in 5 weeks.
March 18th.
Yeah, we've had discussions years past about Cole Stoker possibly having a role. There's look at how other counties do it. Look who's doing it best. Who's doing a just knockout job of handling this stuff. And let's. We're not. No, we're not. Thanks, Brian.
We're just going to get gooder.
All right, if there's no further discussion or comments on that, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Thank you, everyone. What's that?
Henschel. So then I'm going to make a motion that the Policy Review Committee, which is meeting on February 25th, take up a review of the current FOIA policy and process and consider recommendations for improvements.
Second?
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Andrews, seconded by Commissioner Insel. The Policy Review Committee take up a FOIA policy review. What was the date again?
February 25th.
A week from today.
On February 25th. Any
So,
comments, questions, or
well,
concerns on
I'm just
that?
trying to understand, we just directed administration to come back, and you also want the policy committee to come back?
So I think they're two different things. I think one is when the public decides they want to send a FOIA, where do they send it? What is it? Is there a form? How is it processed?
Yeah, but what, doesn't all that get
Yeah.
determined by who's doing it?
The
So it
appeals
feels like those
process.
are, they should be a little more in conjunction. Because I feel like
agree.
if administration comes back and says, you know, we think the best course of action is to have Cole Stoker, I'm just throwing it out there, sorry, Matt, to take it over, and then they may have a
FOIA.com.
process that they recommend, right? So I don't know that, I just don't want to waste people's time by sending us down these two rabbit holes that are not connected.
So the concern I have from where we sit is that we get these appeals with insufficient information, insufficient time frame, insufficient background, and that feels like it's independent of who's doing the processing. Is that, and maybe, so maybe you're right, maybe it should be more limited than the FOIA process and
there's-
policy.
I
but
mean, right
it
now,
seems-
we know the problems are because of this current situation. So if we are looking at a different option, then I'm assuming those
They are
problems would
connected,
go
but they
away.
can also be exclusive. There's the process and the person you have that enforces the process.
Right.
So, but some of that is by statute.
Can I
Please
just chime
do.
in? So when I was civil counsel, I oversaw FOIAs. We never had appeals, never during my time doing that work. I don't think it's a process. I think it's a capacity staff issue at the prosecutor's office.
Or it's a worldview perspective.
We had one lawsuit, we had never had any appeals.
Well, there's nothing wrong with two perspectives. You can marry them together and get the best of both.
I think that leads us to the question of, is this preemptive? Maybe we talk about what our options are at the second meeting in March and then go from there. I think you're right, we're going at this two different ways. It's, I think, confusing.
I think so too. I think we need that information that administration will bring back in March. And then at that point, I'm happy to bring it to the policy committee if it makes sense.
So then would a friendly amendment for the Policy Review Committee to take this up following the March 18th meeting?
We may or may not need to, but can we just wait until we
Well,
get
there's a
information
motion on the
back in
floor,
March?
so, Commissioner Andrews, is he gonna leave it stand?
Yeah, I think we should take action. I think we've been frustrated by our policy and how resolution or appeals are presented to us, and I think this is a ripe time for us to take action on it.
I'm agree with Vice Chair Andrews that just at least some initial conversations at the Policy Review Committee. It doesn't mean we have to have a huge formal recommendation, but the process for appeals is kind of separate than the initial processing that's currently done at the prosecutor's office. So just some initial discussions on how appeals should be handled, and maybe it's a 10-minute discussion. We're meeting anyways, so I think it's a good start.
Well, that's probably true. So I would say the administration would have a different perspective than a policy-making body. So having both probably isn't a bad thing.
Okay, there's no more comments, questions, concerns. Ms. Coyle, would you do a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Henschel?
Yes.
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 Nelson?
No.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Alger, Mr. Forsyth. All right, so new business is over. Commissioner Administration reports. I'm going to start with Mr. Alger. Anything?
Not at this time. We have two closed sessions, or closed session with two opinions.
All right, I don't have anything. Could Mr. Andrews?
Yeah, just to let everybody know that Peninsula Township is kicking off a corridor review process. Their Center Road is looking at getting designated again as a scenic highway, and there's a formal process that kicks off starting Thursday, tomorrow. So we all know that Center Road is a very popular road in our community, and look forward to those discussions.
Commissioner Flynn?
I do not have anything to, at this
Commissioner
time.
Spence?
Nothing here. Thanks.
Commissioner Morris?
Nothing?
Commissioner Walter? Commissioner McAllister, how's things going in Interlochen?
I don't know, we're still working through a roundabout and signs and that kind of stuff. So if anybody has any information on how to forego that for the business community, we're trying to navigate it. So the DDA out there has purchased some signs from Lamar, and we're starting a hub for a website to talk about construction or avoidance and how do you actually get to the area businesses in the Green Lake Township community.
I just had an idea, just to throw it out there.
Yep.
You could have to get around that, maybe partner up with Beta, have a parking lot where Beta can run a shuttle for you.
We're talking about that? Yep, I like it. Good idea.
Commissioner Nelson?
I just want everyone to know I stand opposed to heavy rainfall during the best month of ski season.
I second that motion.
Yeah, that's my birthday
I'll
month.
third that motion.
Fantastic.
We're going to Stokely. We're out.
We're out. Commissioner Henschel, sir.
Nothing new, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I do have an update. Galit Cohen from GFC International will be here the week of February 23rd through the 27th. We anticipated that from an executive committee in the jail discussion, justice facility discussion. She's going to be here longer than we expected, so I'm going to be working with her to try to pencil people in for some listening sessions and some interviews. So just keep that on your radar. We've scheduled JFAC and JTAC meetings for Friday the 27th. And we're anxious to get that process rolling. And she will be meeting with the executive committee on Thursday, right? Thursday.
What was her name again? I'm sorry.
Galit, Galit, Cohen, Cohen. And we're coordinating schedules currently, and we'll have more information coming forward.
Thank you. So if there's nothing else, we are, oh, sorry, there's a notices about some Beta board and some other vacancies. There's just an attachment, just as an FYI. To let people know. Then I'm going to move right on to 14A. I'm going to make the motion, and we go into closed session to discuss written attorney-client privileged legal opinions from the county civil counsel as permitted by MCL 15.2681H.
Second.
All right. Any comments, questions, concerns? No. All those in favor say aye. Oops,
Aye.
sorry. Sorry, my apologies. Roll call. I thought I had all that covered by now.
You're going so quick, too.
Roll call vote, please.
Walter?
Yes.
Andrews?
Yes.
Flynn?
Yes.
Henschel?
Yes.
McAllister?
Yes.
Sorry. Morris?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Spence?
Yes.
And Seifert?
Yes. All right. See y'all in 5 minutes. Thank you.
They're on sale today.
Motion to come back into open session at
Well, I'm not Catholic, so I can have
12:02.
hotchkies
Support.
and Lent.
All right, we have a motion to support, come back in session at 12:02. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. My apologies, I skipped second public comment. Anybody got anything to say? Please, come to the podium, 3 minutes.
He's sprinting.
Oh, poor guy.
I'll make it fast. Hello, I'm Josh Chamberlain, South Arm Township, Charlevoix County. I'm here to introduce myself to all of you. I was recently hired in by John DeMoose as his new district director. So I'll be working with the state senator closely, and he wanted me to introduce myself to everyone. Know that you're welcome to contact me. It's so fresh, I do not have any cards yet, so I will send a email to your clerk so you guys can all have my contact info. But I look forward to working with all of you, and I know the senator does too. Feel free to contact him, myself, any of us. If you have issues, we're here to help. That's all I got to say.
Well, thank you for waiting, and thank the senator on our behalf.
You're a patient guy.
If there's nothing else, motion to adjourn.
So made.
There you go, we're adjourned. Thank you.